Big news this week. Is Hartford on the verge of becoming a Silicon Valley hub? And could Amazon ditch New York for Connecticut? We'll discuss with Gregory Say of the Hartford Business Journal. Plus, special election day approaching, Rick Lopes versus Gennaro Bizzarro, right here on Face the State. And what do minority leaders think about the Lamont administration so far? We're joined by Reggie Hales and A.J. Johnson. Our flashback, when Governor Weicker said the car tax was going away? It's all straight ahead this Sunday morning, February 17th, 2019.
From Eyewitness News, Connecticut's most watched local political program, this is Face the State.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Sunday morning. I'm Dennis House. Could Connecticut be on the verge of an economic turnaround? There's a new governor, a new attitude, and some new businesses coming to our state. With us today, Gregory C. of the Hartford Business Journal. We thank you very much, Greg, for being here in the program. First of all, the big news this week is that Amazon said they're not going to go to New York after all, so now they're going to have to look for that second North American headquarters. Can Connecticut make a play for this? What do they have to do?
Dennis, that's shocking news. As recently as, of course, a few weeks ago, everyone thought that they were going to our neighbor to the south, to Long Island. They've also announced plans for a facility in Northern Virginia. With the news about them not going to Long Island, New York, that certainly does put that facility in play. Open question whether or not Connecticut could be a viable candidate for that. Of course, as you know, Connecticut did vie in the first round for both of those two sites, but ultimately lost out. The issue, I believe, came down to money. There was a huge amount of incentives that were offered to Amazon from the state of New York, about $3 billion worth. Right now, in this climate that we have in the state with a new governor who has promised more fiscal responsibility, it's an open question whether or not that money could come to the fore. But it might be an opportunity worth pursuing.
There was some criticism of the way that Connecticut went after Amazon to begin with. They said there were too many choices. There was Danbury, there was Hartford, there was New Haven, there was Bridgeport. That maybe the state should pick one place, market it, and target it. Should that place be Hartford or somewhere in Fairfield County?
It probably makes sense that it would be somewhere in Fairfield County, if only because of the proximity to New York City and to just the Atlantic Seaboard corridor. That makes it easier for travel, be it road or mass transit for people, employees to get to work, that kind of thing.
I'm going to be devil's advocate here because a lot of people think that driving in and out of Fairfield County is the worst commute in the country, and the surveys have shown that it's just congested. There's no airport there, which is what Amazon is requiring. They need to be close to an international airport.
Right. Well, that certainly would be an issue. And of course, you've got, in addition to LaGuardia, you've got Kennedy, and then of course here in Connecticut you've got Bradley, and by extension going up 95 to Logan Airport. But I think that the key would be access to talent. That was, I think, the key driver for Amazon about going to New York City. They like the prospect of being close and in and around a nexus of young millennials, future employees. They're computer savvy. They're a product of the digital age. That's a ready-made resource that they would have immediate access to. It certainly would be an opportunity to put it in Hartford, but I think the logistics probably would be a little bit tougher to suss out.
And the state's going to have to cough up money to get Amazon. Right?
That's right. Yes, a lot of money. And the open question is whether our priorities could sustain Amazon.
Would Amazon be a game changer like many people believe it would be?
Certainly, it would be. It would have the halo effect of launching Connecticut and New England into the thrust of a potential Silicon Valley type hub. It would make it attractive for attracting young talent. There's a myriad of opportunities there, but some would say that with the same money that you use to attract an Amazon, perhaps if you split it off and be smart about it, you could develop even more economic development opportunities, kind of like what we're seeing in Hartford right now, with the attraction of some of these startup businesses that are focused around additive manufacturing. There's a real play right now for that type of talent, and we're having more success, certainly as you know, in achieving that with the help of Stanley, Black & Decker, and Techstars.
You had a great article this past week in the HBJ about sort of how Hartford is becoming a little bit of a Silicon Valley type of hub. Which kind of businesses are coming there, and they're actually finding that it's cheaper. How was that?
Absolutely. It's a funny thing that we as natives, what we look at as negatives, others from the outside see as opportunity. And the great thing that Connecticut has going for it, and particularly in Hartford, is that it's midway between Boston and New York, two high-cost metropolitan areas. Relatively speaking, when you take into account taxes and housing and other things, it's still cheaper to live and do business in Hartford, in Connecticut, than in those major metropolitan areas. That's the attraction for these young companies that are coming here from other states, even from other countries.
There's one from Ireland, you said, right?
There's one from Ireland. They came here, what they saw here was a vibrant community in downtown Hartford that they feel like can sustain them as they continue to refine and develop their technology. And in fact, these are startups. All they have is a bunch of ideas and a lot of energy, but they see opportunity to be in Hartford to refine their technology, perhaps even grow their companies, hire more people, and with that, you get a sustainable ecosystem of economic development.
Is this why we're seeing so many new apartments in downtown Hartford? And because millennials, they want to be able to just walk from their office to home.
It's all tied in. One perhaps begat the other. The conversion of older buildings in downtown Hartford from office space into housing, that was an opportunity that has long existed. There's always been a pocket of demand among our older suburbanites who want to get away from the maintenance and ownership of owning a home and be in an urban setting where they can walk to and from work or they can walk to and from recreation. There was that demand. Now you're seeing the additional demand as these startup companies and the young millennials come in here to work for corporations, to work for these startups. They want to be in an urban setting. They want to have access to workspace, to living space, and to play spaces. And as more of those people come, there's more demand for apartments. So you're seeing it feeding on itself.
It is a fascinating time. Gregory See of the Hartford Business Journal, we thank you so much for being on the program. In a moment, many of you are going to the polls. In a couple of weeks, we'll look at one hot race that's going on when you go to the polls on February 26th. And also, welcome you to watch past editions of Face the State. They're on our YouTube channel right now and also on the Channel 3 app.